Michael and Carl, the wannabe superstar. A Winged Wisdom production. Once upon a time in the bustling city of Cityville, Carl the Pigeon was in the PR game of his life. He was not just a regular pigeon with a taste for crumbs. He was the top PR manager for Michael Jr., a slightly clueless but well-meaning human who happened to think he was a karate master. Michael had taken exactly one karate class as a kid, but he was convinced that he was a karate legend in the making, and Carl, despite his best efforts, was somehow managing to turn this into a brand. Michael Jr.'s karate obsession came with a lot of PR hazards. His karate demonstrations were mostly him flailing his arms and yelling, "Hiya," while knocking things over. Just last week, he'd attempted a flying crane kick in a smoothie bar, which ended in him crashing into a blender and splattering kale juice everywhere. Carl had somehow spun the story into a hashtag #GreenPowerKick. Then there was Fred, Carl's feathered and slightly scruffy brother. Fred wasn't exactly PR material, more like a found a half-eaten hot dog and wanted to share it kind of guy. But Fred adored Michael, and every time he saw him practicing his karate, Fred would cheer him on, convinced that Michael was some kind of martial arts prodigy. One day, Carl had set up a press event at Cityville Park, where Michael was going to demonstrate his karate skills to promote his new line of sports drinks. Carl was sweating it out on Michael's shoulder, nervously preening his feathers as they waited. "Michael," Carl whispered into his ear, "please, just stick to the moves we practiced, okay? No new moves. And maybe avoid kicking anything directly in front of the reporters." Michael grinned and nodded. "Don't worry, Carl. I've got some new moves I've been working on. They're gonna blow everyone away." Fred flew in, looking extra scrappy, with feathers ruffled and a half-eaten pretzel in his beak. "Hey, Michael," he squawked. "Can't wait to see those moves. Show him what you got." Carl rolled his eyes. "Fred, don't encourage him." But it was too late. With Fred cheering him on and the cameras clicking, Michael launched into his signature move, the Flying Eagle Kick. Unfortunately, the kick part was just him flapping his arms wildly, his leg not getting more than 2 inches off the ground before he lost balance and tumbled forward. He managed to knock over a whole row of sports drinks, which sent bright green liquid flying everywhere. The reporters were stunned, and Carl felt his heart sink. "Oh no," he muttered under his breath. But Michael was unfazed. He sprang to his feet and pointed a triumphant finger to the sky. "That's right. That's the power of the Flying Eagle Kick." Fred went nuts, flapping his wings and cawing, "Yeah, Michael. Nailed it." Just then, one of the reporters timidly raised a hand. Mr. Jr., can you maybe demonstrate another move?" Carl, from Michael's shoulder, pecked at his ear and whispered, "Do not do another move." But Michael ignored him. "Of course. Prepare yourselves for the most powerful move in all of karate, the pigeon plunge." He looked proudly at Carl and Fred, as if this move was inspired by his very best friends. Carl's eyes went wide. "Oh no, 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 no." With a loud yell, Michael threw himself forward, attempting a somersault but landing squarely on his back with a thud. The reporters gasped, and Carl face-winged himself. But Fred, ever the loyal fan, hopped over and pecked Michael on the head in what he thought was encouragement. "You did it, Michael. That was legendary." Michael, slightly dazed, raised a fist in the air. "Did you see that? That's the strength of a true warrior." Carl looked out at the reporters, desperately trying to salvage the situation. "Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jr.'s moves are experimental, blending ancient techniques with modern flair." Surprisingly, the reporters were eating it up. One of them, clearly caught up in the spectacle, shouted, "Can you tell us more about the pigeon plunge? Does it hurt?" Michael, still lying flat on his back, grinned and replied, "Oh, absolutely. But that's part of the discipline. It's all about, embracing pain as part of the journey." Carl's brain was racing. Somehow, this karate master narrative was working. Maybe people actually liked seeing a guy who was bad at karate but had the confidence of a seasoned black belt. As he plotted his next PR strategy, he whispered to himself, "I don't know how, but we might just pull this off." By the end of the event, Pigeon Plunge was trending, and Michael was getting booked for interviews about his unique take on martial arts. Carl had done it again, proving that with the right spin, even a clumsy karate attempt could look like the next big fitness craze. And Fred, of course, strutted around proudly, claiming he'd taught Michael everything he knew about pigeon-inspired martial arts. And who was Carl to argue? Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches, or, in this case, the clumsy flying eagle kicks. Don't forget to like and subscribe.